Hello. I think the most difficult thing that a person has to do is communicate. And they don't have to do it effectively, but it's much better when you do. And I feel like a core subject that may be missing from schools is how to communicate. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of things that people want taught at public schools, whether it's the religions or the mathematics or the literatures or the histories. But of all of those things, I think in order to do any of them, you need to know how to communicate. And having an effective communication class in high school or something that just teaches the fundamentals of communication. Because people are kind of dumb until you teach them. And if you never are taught how to communicate, or if you don't innately pick up on it, you're kind of SOL on the whole effective communication. And typically, communication styles appear from where, your environment is, whatever your culture is, and whatever the communication style is present in your family. But there's definitely ways to break bad communication styles and create good ones. And now that doesn't have to be the imaginary class that I'm making up of, fixing people's communication styles, but at least being educated on it is something that would probably help, because I'm taking some communication classes and they're very, very useful for creating my view of opening my eyes, my mind to styles of communication, what effective communication is, how to go about effective communication, literally just what to say. Because there's a lot of time in your life that you're going to be communicating, and so it's better to do it in a positive way than a negative one. Because if the fundamental way that you interact with people is negative, then sorry buddy, but I don't know if you're going to have a lot of people in your life, because people want positive interactions. And I mean, maybe you'll find yourself in a group of people that are like you and have negative interactions most of the time. But I wouldn't want that. Maybe you do. I don't know. But I never find negative interactions very fulfilling. And a lot of what, I want as a human being is to be fulfilled. So, the most important idea to come from this is that if you can, educate yourself on communication. Or something that I've kind of taken to is experimenting with how I communicate and using or mimicking communication styles or techniques that I see from other people that I think are effective communicators. So the reason you watch people give speeches is so that you can understand how you're supposed to give a speech. Because whenever a person gives a good speech, you can tell that yeah, that was good. What can I do in order to do that? You can do this with effective communicators. So maybe there's someone that is really good at communicating what people need to know and communicating that there are things that they need to know, and exchanging information very effectively and fluidly. And then you can try and mimic that in whatever ways you see fit, and then you have possibly a better way of communicating. Most importantly is that you're comfortable whenever you communicate, right? Usually whenever you're uncomfortable in communicating, like you're giving a big speech, is whenever you don't communicate well. And so the first steps to communicating is getting in a mindset or having the confidence to communicate this way, because you've practiced it. You've practiced your speech, you've practiced what you're going to say to your boss or your friends or whoever, and you basically you understand what you're going to say, and then you know what points you need to deliver on. And a lot of the time when maybe you're writing an outline for a speech, it'll have, things that you put into it. So the way you phrase certain things have different meanings, right? Or at least come off differently. And so trying to improve the work you do before whatever you're going to do will make you more of an effective communicator. So if you can make your outline in a way that is already better than if you were to make it as like a negative communicator or something. Also, I'm making up things, so yeah. If you make your speech outline better at communicating what you're trying to say, then your speech is automatically better. It doesn't matter if you give the speech the same way, but you just change the outline so that it is improved through positive communication means, however that happens to be, then the speech you're giving is already better. So it doesn't matter like what you're saying or how you're saying it, as long as it matches the outline. And then if you just improve the outline, your delivery still matters some, right? But is not going to matter as much. Because you can have a really, really crappy outline, or just like no outline at all, but have a really, really good delivery. But the way that, you delivered nothing. And so the audience gets nothing. But if you have a really nicely packed outline, and then you are able to get the idea through of like, yes, this is what I mean, and then that concept will get through to the audience, even if your delivery is subpar. Because it takes a good idea, or at least a strong communication concept of like, you're telling a story in order to get this idea across. And you can do that even if your delivery isn't that good, as long as your story is good. And you could learn that in a communication class, right? And so you don't have to worry so much about, does everything on me look right? Are all my words like making sense with each other? Is everything very persuasive that I'm saying? Do I have a good tone? That matters much less than the idea you're trying to sell or you're trying to inform people of, right? So go for the idea and not for the delivery. Anyways, Toodles.